Wowie, wowie, wow, wow, wow. Wow-E, W-O-W-W-E-E, is a toy company that makes a line of toy musical instruments and accessories called Paper Jams, P-A-P-E-R-J-A-M-Z. They make little guitars and drums and amplifiers, like a guitar amplifier, that are basically cardboard and plastic and operate with the same technology those talking greeting cards you buy uses. A little couple batteries, a tiny little amplifier, and instead of a speaker, it's a thing called a transducer. It couples to the card or cardboard and kind of makes a speaker-like sound. They're quite a lot of fun. You can buy them for 15, 20 bucks in any place that sells toys, but if they find their way to the thrift store, you can buy any one of them for about $1. Recently, I came across the cardboard version of a little guitar amplifier for $1. I wasn't very interested in the internal technology because, again, it sounds pretty much like a talking greeting card. But I was interested for $1 in the cardboard box that looked like a guitar amplifier. So I combined a bunch of used elements I had and a little tiny amplifier I bought at a thrift store. And for around the area of 10 bucks, this is what I came up with. Okay, this is what I got for $1. It did not have these two holes or the speakers in them, and it did not have this jack, which you can actually plug a guitar into. I added those. I paid $1 for the little cardboard amplifier, and again, I took out its innards because talking a greeting card. I had two 8-ohm speakers that I had from some project long ago. As you can see, one has a shiny dome and one has a dull dome. What that means is the one with the dull dome is more inclined to low end, and the one with the shiny dome is more inclined to high end. This little jack I installed, which I had for decades, made by a company called Switchcraft, it's a good jack, a real one, won't you know, allowed me to do this. This is a 1970s era Radio Shack realistic mini stereo amplifier, a whopping 12 watts. In this era of 5, 6, 7, 800 watt amplifiers, this one's 12. Now the jack you saw on the other side of the amplifier, I wired together and put, so even though this has a right and left channel, the guitar is going into both the right and the left channel simultaneously. What makes this particular vintage amplifier interesting is it has separate volume controls for left and right channel. In other words, this channel is one speaker, this channel is the other speaker. I can turn them both up to the same volume, or one lower and one louder, or vice versa. It allows me to some pretty cool flexibility to the overall sound of the amplifier, and this is a tone control. It doesn't have a lot of range, but it is noticeable from low to high. So my 12 watt amplifier fed into, you can see the back of the two speakers here. I attached them to the cardboard with the real handyman's friend, a product called Goop. It's an adhesive you can buy in any hardware store. It's a thick, gooey substance or consistency, kind of like rubber cement, but when it dries, it is strong as armor. And the cool thing about it is it's not rigid when it dries. It's kind of a little soft so that it doesn't vibrate. It doesn't encourage vibrating. It kind of muffles it. So I'm going to turn this puppy back around. And what I'm going to do tonight is play several different guitars through this thing, several different ways. And I'm going to employ a technique in audio called close miking. Allow me to explain to you what that is. Close miking is when you place the microphone close enough to the source that as little room noise is picked up as possible, but it has to be far enough away from the speaker so that the speaker has space to form its full sound. If you get too close, you'll only pick up, low, mid, and high frequencies. If you get too close to the speaker, you won't pick them all up. If you get too far away, you'll start picking up the room sound of the whatever room you're in, and it will water down the overall sound coming out. The purpose of this whole thing was not only for me to have fun, but to show how bigger and powerful is not always necessary. Again, the amplifier in this homemade little contraption you're looking at is 12 watts. And as you can see, the speakers are only a couple inches wide on each of them, but they are good speakers. They're not cheapo speakers. They are good speakers. So that being said, now we'll do this. This particular guitar is a early 1980s Epiphone guitar. Epiphone originally was built by the Gibson Guitar Company when Gibson was a United States of America company. In the 70s and 80s, Gibson sold out, all the guitars that said Gibson and Epiphone, whatever on them, were actually manufactured in Asia with the name Epiphone or Gibson on them. In the last couple decades, a couple Americans have bought back the Gibson Guitar Company, and they are made in America again, imagine that. But this is a mid-80s Gibson/Epiphone knockoff of a Fender Stratocaster. It's a decent little guitar. I've had it since it was new all those years, and I made a few modifications to it to suit me. I play left-handed, but I like playing a right-handed guitar left-handed. On this particular guitar, down at the bottom are the tone controls and volume controls for the guitar. I have glued them into the all the way on position so that when I play, my arm can't, since it's upside down for me, my arm can't hit those knobs and change my volume or tone while I'm playing, and I get my volume and tone from the amplifier setup I play through. The second thing I did was down at the bottom below the knobs is where the guitar plugs in, the guitar cord plugs into the guitar. I removed the plug and actually hardwired the guitar cable directly into the guitar so there's no plug sticking out again, because when I play left-handed and the guitar is upside down, my arm hits that. So what I'm going to do is, the first thing I'm going to do is play this Epiphone plug directly, no effects, no nothing, it's just right in that amplifier and both speakers at the same level of volume. Now, next thing I'm going to do is plug in this very vintage Ibanez Multi-Effects UE305 into the little cardboard amplifier, and my guitar, the same Epiphone, into it. For two reasons. One, I can compress the signal, in other words, tighten it up, and secondly, I can add the effect of analog delay. So that's the next thing on the menu. Oop, bang, crash. First thing we'll try is a moderate amount of compression from the Ibanez. Now analog analog delay. And now I'm going to switch back to just the compressor and change, hey, the tuning of the guitar. This, hey, where am I here? This switch changes what combination of pickups you use. As you can tell, it noticeably changes the sound of the guitar. Uh-oh, shut myself off. Imagine that. This show is usually flawlessly seamless. I don't know how that could have happened. All right, on to guitar number 2. This is a Yamaha guitar, acoustic guitar, and the model number is, if I can see inside here, because I can never remember, a FG 165S from the 1970s, bought in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. How I've modified this one is I installed this vintage Gibson pickup to a jack at the bottom of the guitar. No tone controls, no volume controls, no nothing. Just feed it directly into an amplifier, and once again use the tone and volume controls of the amplifier. I'm feeding back. To balance and set the levels necessary to play it. Again, I'm going to take this one directly into the little cardboard amplifier that will be closely mic'd, and then add some effects to it. And I should add, I guess, that I play on these last 2 guitars in what's called an open tuning. The tuning of the guitar is to chords. In other words, if you strum the guitar without even fingering it, you get a chord, and as you bar or finger the frets, you get all kind of interesting sounds, some which can be explained, some which cannot. But here we go. Oh yeah, and by the way, this pick guard screwed to the bottom of the Yamaha did not come with the guitar. That is what's left, parts of what's left of my very first electric guitar, a 1959 Epiphone, which was built in America. Coronet got smashed by some rambunctious roommates long ago. And if I had that guitar today, it'd probably be worth $2,000–3,000, but I don't. I have parts of it, and that is the pick guard from that very first guitar I ever had. All right, here it is, directly into the cardboard. now we'll run it through the Ibanez. Okay, first off, just compression. And now some analog delay. It occurs to me that this might be a good guitar to show you the difference between the two speakers. This is the left speaker. This is the right speaker. This is both speakers. A source of fun and a source of heartache in doing these shows, as I turn myself down, is never knowing till I'm done how it came out. As definitely the same thing is true with this show. The little cardboard amplifier was a heck of a lot of fun to cobble together and see how it would perform. And we will all find out together exactly how well it did. If you like what you heard in any way, shape, or form, I would suggest you explore your own creative instincts and see. I remember a time from a time long ago when musicians' first thoughts were to make something a sound that was not something you bought off a shelf. They wanted to create something unique to them. And we would cobble things together, glue things together, tape things together, put pillows over microphones, all kinds of interesting things to try and get something that nobody has ever heard before. And believe it or not, it's worth the effort, and it will be memorable.